You wake up. The fire is almost out. Everyone around you is still asleep, but you don't know how long you have before you need to move. There is no clock telling you the time, no weather app telling you whether a storm is coming, no supermarket waiting a few kilometers away. And if you don't find food today, you can't simply order it. For most of human history, this was normal. Humans have existed for roughly 300,000 years, but agriculture only appeared around 10,000 to 12,000 years ago. That means our ancestors spent the overwhelming majority of human history living without farms, cities, electricity, medicine, or permanent homes. And the terrifying part wasn't that they were constantly fighting predators, it was something much simpler. Almost everything could go wrong. Let's start with food. Today, hunger usually means you haven't eaten in several hours. For an ancient hunter-gatherer, hunger could mean something much more serious. Food availability depended on seasons, weather, animal movements, plants, rivers, and luck. A hunting group could spend hours tracking an animal and come back with nothing. A plant that was abundant last month might disappear. A drought could reduce water sources. A harsh winter could make an entire region difficult to survive in. And there was no backup plan, no emergency food delivery, no convenience store, no refrigerator full of leftovers. Your environment was your pantry, and sometimes your pantry was empty. But finding food wasn't even the most dangerous part. Infection was. Today, a small wound can be treated with antiseptic, antibiotics, stitches, or professional medical care. Ancient humans had none of these. A cut from a sharp stone could become infected. A broken bone could become a permanent disability. A severe tooth infection could become extremely dangerous. And there was no emergency room waiting nearby. This doesn't mean every injury was fatal. Humans actually developed remarkable ways of caring for injured members of their groups. Archaeologists have found ancient skeletons showing that some people survived serious injuries that would have required long periods of assistance, which tells us something important. Ancient humans didn't survive alone. They survived together. Someone had to bring food to the injured. Someone had to protect them. Someone had to help them move. Someone had to stay. And this cooperation may have been one of humanity's greatest survival advantages. But there was another problem. You couldn't control your environment. A storm wasn't an inconvenience, it could destroy your shelter. A flood could force an entire group to move. A long period without rain could change where animals and plants could be found. And fire was both one of humanity's greatest tools and one of its greatest dangers. Fire provided warmth, it allowed humans to cook food, it provided light, it helped keep some predators away, but uncontrolled fire could also destroy forests, shelters, and resources. Your entire survival system depended on understanding the environment around you, and humans became remarkably good at it. They learned animal tracks, they learned which plants were edible, they learned seasonal patterns, they learned where water could be found. They learned how to make tools from stone, bone, wood, and other materials. Knowledge wasn't just education, knowledge was survival. Humans weren't just surviving, they were constantly processing information. Their brains were essentially survival databases, and forgetting the wrong thing could have serious consequences. But perhaps the most terrifying thing about ancient life was something you couldn't see coming. Other humans. Human groups weren't always peaceful. Archaeological evidence shows that interpersonal and group violence existed long before cities, kingdoms, or modern weapons. Resources could be contested, groups could compete, conflicts could occur over territory, food, relationships, or other reasons. But here's the important part. Ancient humans weren't living in a constant war either. That image comes mostly from modern assumptions. Human societies have always included cooperation, friendship, sharing, negotiation, and conflict. The same species capable of violence was also capable of extraordinary cooperation. And that cooperation was essential because ancient humans were vulnerable in another way. They couldn't easily survive alone. A single ancient human couldn't do everything. Keep the fire alive, find food, watch for danger, care for an injury, protect the children, and somehow still travel safely. That's why humans needed groups. People shared food, divided tasks, cared for injured members, and most importantly, shared knowledge. Because without books, maps, or written instructions, knowledge had to live inside people. And that's what makes prehistoric life so terrifying. There were no guarantees. Food wasn't guaranteed, water wasn't guaranteed, health wasn't guaranteed, safety wasn't guaranteed. Today, if you're hungry, there's a store. If you're sick, there's a doctor. If you get lost, there's GPS. If it gets dark, you turn on a light. Our ancestors had none of that. They survived through cooperation, memory, creativity, and the ability to adapt when everything went wrong. They weren't the strongest or fastest animals. They simply became incredibly good at turning knowledge into survival. And that's the strange part. The world changed, but the human brain didn't. The same species that once gathered around a fire to survive now gathers around screens for entertainment. We didn't stop being ancient humans. We just built a world that protects us from many of the dangers our ancestors faced. So if you think you'd survive the prehistoric era because you're tough, remember, your biggest advantage today isn't strength. It's the modern world itself. Take it away, and survival becomes a completely different game.